hazelnut Viennese shortbread. So you may have seen some of these shortbreads in bakery shop or pastry shop windows. They look absolutely beautiful. They are a piped cookie, often sandwiched between some jam or preserves and then dipped in chocolate. So the first thing that I wanted to talk to you folks about this recipe is it is based on our classic shortbread cookie with the 1:3 ratio. However, we're adding a couple of other ingredients to change the texture a little bit. One of those is traditionally an egg, but of course we are using a vegan egg alternative. And in your recipe you will find there is two options. You can use the Panis egg, which is an ingredient used to replace whole eggs in a more professional setting for chefs, bakers and pastry chefs, or you can use the aquafaba option. So I am using the aquafaba option today. So it's a combination of aquafaba, or also known as the cooking liquid from chickpeas, combined with a starch-based egg replacer like Orgran, or you can make it yourself. All of those ingredients, those two ingredients, have been mixed together and just sat aside for about 5 minutes. Now this egg replacer does provide some abilities in this recipe. So the aquafaba has two main functions, those being leavening or giving a little bit more puff to our cookie, and the other one being emulsification, bringing all the fats and water components together in the recipe in a homogeneous manner. The starch-based egg replacer's sole function is just to bind, so it is the glue in the recipe holding everything together. We start off with the creaming of our butter and sugar, and that's already been done. If you haven't watched the video, check it out. It's linked in your dashboard. So that's already done for me now. So what we're going to do is stick this on our mixer. I'm using a hazelnut aroma just to bring out that beautiful hazelnut flavor. So I'm going to add a little bit of that to my butter and sugar mixture. And our vegan egg replacer, I'm going to add about half of it to start off with, and on a medium speed we're going to start incorporating everything together until it's emulsified. Our vegan egg has been incorporated along with our aroma. I can already smell that hazelnut, and you'll notice that it should be really nice and fluffy and smooth, so we know that that emulsification has worked. Now the next thing that we're going to be doing is we need hazelnut meal. If you can't find hazelnut meal, you can actually just make it yourself. It's super easy. So I've just taken some toasted hazelnuts, and I love these little mixers. So this actually came with my immersion blender, and it's like a mini food processor, great for small quantities. And I've just popped my toasted hazelnuts in there. Now take a spoonful of your flour, which you've already measured out for this recipe, and pop that in there. Now that's going to help stop too much oil coming out of your hazelnuts. And instead of making a butter, we'll be making a nice meal. So let's get this on here, and we're going to blend this until it's nice and fine. Once your hazelnut meal is ground up, we're going to be sifting in our flour, salt, and our hazelnut meal. Once you have all your dry ingredients in your bowl, we can pop this onto our mixer. And we're going to mix this until it's just incorporated. We don't want to work any of that gluten. No, we want a nice short cookie or biscuit. That's it. And once that is all mixed up, we're going to pop that into our piping bag. Mixture. Now I'm using a mat here. This is what we call an air mat. It's not necessary to use this type of mat, but because it has all of the holes through it, it does allow even airflow, and you get really nice crisp and even bake for your cookies. So I'm going to be using this today. You can also just use some baking paper And I'm going to show you, if you're using this type of mat, how to mark it. So we are doing 8 centimeters in length. I've just got my bench scraper here and I'm just putting a little bit of flour on there. So I'm going to go in at 8 centimeters. I'm going to use my scraper to make a line with the flour. So once you have your mat marked out, we can start piping. And I like to do this on an angle, make sure that you use lots of pressure. Stop, press, and then release, pull, and then back. So my Viennese cookies came out of the oven and I allowed those to completely cool on their trays. And now I've just matched them up, all the same sizes. And you want to take your favorite preserves or jam, or perhaps you can use the jam in this course that you learned how to make. And I'm just putting like a little bit on one side of the cookie. And then we're going to use that to put them together. What I'm going to do is dip them in some chocolate. Now I have tempered this chocolate, you don't have to, but keep in mind if you don't temper the chocolate, you must keep these cookies in the refrigerator. So I always like to dip the kind of more messy end where we finished off piping. So just give my chocolate a little bit of a stir and then we're going to dip it in. Give it a bit of a bounce. And then I like to just wipe away some of that excess. And onto your baking tray. And then just continue with the rest.